Welcome back, brave souls. This is episode 3 of our Vaesen campaign. Let's keep these lantern lights dim as we proceed to tell this story. Last session ended in the dark, the dank darkness of the sewers. You had fled the church under stormy gray skies, the sounds of machine gun fire rattling behind you. His Father Podrick's fate is uncertain, although we as players thankfully know. Now we are beneath the city's bones, as it were, deep in its sewers. You are following Finn, this young lad who you have taken it upon yourselves to be kinds of guardians of a sort, as he seems to be fated for something. And the hope in the back of your minds is that that fate may be avoided. In this dripping dark, amid the rot and the smells of this version of Belfast in 1943, you also encounter a happy, friendly Vaesen named Hollow Tom. He is a knocker, and he is a friend of Finn's. And he's told you that they're using the old folk, the bad men, the ones with the skulls, buttons, and everything. They've got them in cages and they're bleeding them for power. And you learn that there's some kind of ritual that's happening within the docks. In a moment of, I guess, an attempt, rather, to extract more information, Aoife reaches out using her automatic writing. And unfortunately, nothing happens, or at least not what she wants. And then there is something that shifts in the air. Something else is present. Something else is looking through her eyes. And Drew, you seek to confront whatever this thing is, and it grabs you by the throat and says, "You talk pretty."
Really pretty. And Aoife's head whips back up into the air. Guten Tag, Fräulein. So, the veil tears both ways. How quaint. Though your frail flesh I glimpse the present. Through your frail thrush I glimpse the present, and yet I stand in the cradle of history, where destiny itself bends to my will. Do you feel it? Her head whips again, this time to Dove. The pulse of the duck beneath your bones, the iron ghosts of the ships of old crying for release. Her head whips again to Cliff. You are vermin, scratching in the shadows, but I am eternal. Blood and time are my dominion. The fools of Belfast think themselves safe behind their churches and their whispers, but I will drink their lineage dry, and with it the future they clutch so dearly. Even now, the circle spins, the machine hums, and with each beat of your frightened heart. At this point, her hands release from Drew's neck and her back flips over backwards towards Nehemiah. I am closer to plucking the child from her mother's arms, closer to cutting the fey line at its root. Do you understand the scale of what you oppose? The infant life for the empire of the world. One gasp for eternity. Do you hear the bells? My mission for the Führer beckons. Straight up, as a board, she stiffens. Write it down, girl! Etch my triumph into your little book so that when the ink runs red, you will remember whose hand truly guides the quill. And she collapses.
Drew is right before the collapse.
I will allow this. Yeah, go ahead.
Holotom was one thing. That's fine. Whatever just happened, whatever just took over, whatever primality was within that's almost an echo within Cliff. As he checks Drew, and as he moves forward, you see hair begin to pour from his pores. You might see his bald head suddenly growing back, long fur. You see long teeth begin to extend from his mouth, his eyes slitting, but still deep and dark and void-like as his hand goes around Aoife's neck. You will rue this day, and I'm fearing with a curse. Whoever that is.
Before the body goes limp, it starts to laugh.
As I will say, as this monologue, you see, this is actually how I get, my chance to have a monologue without a player interrupting it, is by having another player give it. So, yay me. So, Aoife, while this is happening, you hear these words coming out of your mouth. You know that they are not your own. You know that this is not supposed to be the thing that happens. You see Drew's face. You see the faces of your companions. You see the face of Finn. Suddenly, you're not in the sewers anymore. All while this is happening, you find yourself staring down at the floor. It's not the floor of the sewers, it's the floor of... You look around. You're in the shipyard. And there are mechanical devices, there are lights, they're all pointed at a point, a dais in the center. There are 3 ship's bells that seem to be attached with a variety of electrical, mechanical equipment. There are hooded figures, and past them, past the circle of all of these contraptions, you see a large detachment of Wehrmacht soldiers. And as you look down, you see perhaps what Hollow Tom was referencing before. The black suited soldiers with their skull buttons. And you see rank insignias on this uniform. And you see the rank of colonel. As you look down, you see the boots. You see the searchlights above as they are pointed down at these 3 bells. And you see one gentleman near the bells who looks like he is some kind of scientist, some kind of engineer, perhaps. And he has a tuning fork in his hand. And as he very lightly just taps the tuning fork against the first bell, you see the bell vibrate. And the air around you just quivers. And suddenly you are made aware of the bells being connected to the electrical equipment and what they're connected to. The series of different connections and into the bodies of, you see knockers, you see leprechauns, you see Selkie. All bound, all being used as conduits to channel some kind of power into these ship's bells. some of whom they look damaged, old, covered in coral, covered in elements of the seas. One looks slightly more pristine than the others. You see flashes of all of this happening. And you see the engineer turns back to you, or at least the body that you are now possessing yourself. Colonel Hartman, you see this bespectacled, nervous technician. He's operating this tuning fork on each of the bells. Colonel Hartman, the procedure is ready to commence whenever you would wish.
Delay.
But the time approaches. You do not wish to ring the bells now?
The time is not right now. We must delay.
Very well, but we must not delay more than a few minutes. The Fuhrer demands it.
I demand we need more time.
Are you all right, mon colonel?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Now is not the time.
You suddenly, Aoife, you find yourself with hands around your throat. And you see Cliff standing above you with Drew slightly to the side.
Drew, I'm gonna say that the moment that Cliff's hand goes for Aoife's neck, Drew's hand is on Cliff's wrist.
The fur is matted and almost ripped and torn in spots. Though there's still human skin beneath, is as if this is a half-shifted form. Part man, part monster. But right now, can Cliff tell that whatever was there is gone?
That is also a question that Nehemiah would love to know the answer to.
Given the fact that the voice that you hear is Aoife's voice, to a certain extent. It's disembodied. It uses words in a way that you've never heard Aoife, this usually very optimistic individual and friend, uses. What is Dove's reaction to this? Not just to the words, but also to this transformation that she sees in Cliff. And I will ask, I'm fairly certain Nehemiah is the only person who may have seen this.
Before Dove is able to answer your question, Venerable Master, I think if anyone looks at Nehemiah during this, he has the most like square-jawed, stoic expression throughout the entirety of the monologue. He doesn't even reach for his gun or anything. He just stands and stares at Aoife the entire time. And even when Cliff moves to grab at her throat, he doesn't flinch. But his head position doesn't change. His eyes, though, go from where Aoife is to Cliff. Waiting for there to be some sort of eye contact between them. That is his only move.
I think there's a moment that Dove rushes forward to maybe catch Aoife, but Cliff is too fast. And there is just a moment of shadow, like a rush past Dove. And I think that is enough to stop them up short for a moment as they trail down your arm. Seeing, of course, Drew's hand there as well, but trailing down to take you in your entirety. And I think Dove tilts her head and says, "As soon as you unhand my cousin, I would love to know more about your story."
There is a low, guttural growl that emanates from Cliff, and while he's not looking at any of the others yet, there is just maybe a quickening of the heart that you feel, and an anxiety that comes upon, as he didn't just say words. The curse he intended to put forward is one of pure terror and fear. Which is why I asked, can I tell if this is still Aoife or whatever possessed?
I think I'm gonna have you do a check for me.
Absolutely.
1 second. Yes, please give me, this will be a vigilance.
This be vigilance, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Out of curiosity, not observation.
So I was thinking observation, but it's
I'm fine with either.
it's the difference. It's the difference.
He's less looking physically and more trying to feel and understand what's here, which is why.
Mm-hmm.
But it can also be a physical thing, which is fine if it's vigilance.
Because I feel like you're trying to see like where, like a physical tick of sorts. Like, are you trying to see like, is this Aoife all
I've
along?
never seen Aoife do this before.
Yeah.
Clearly, this is a possession of some sort.
No. Okay. I'll
With
give you. Yeah.
the
Give me an
shifting,
observation.
I'm just understanding if I can see like the energy of the aura of the situation, if there is a power that's put upon them, or if they're just seeing through, right? Okay. Then, for the chat, this is something that is 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. All right. You've been around Aoife for a while now. You've seen sort of the way they carry themselves. You've seen perhaps little bits here and there of glimpses of what kinds of powers they possess or what their skills are. This closeness has afforded you a little bit of a sense of a comfort around them. You see them as a solid individual. And in this moment of vulnerability, you see something else take over completely. What I will say, you notice exactly when this thing leaves. And when suddenly you see Aoife's body suddenly become this trembling form. As she has, in a very real way, returned to herself.
2 things I want to note then. People would see hand around neck. You would see claws, but you would not see them pressed into skin. But you would see them quickly release.
Am I falling to the ground?
No, you're not.
Okay.
He wouldn't have been holding you unless you don't have the strength to hold up. He wasn't like holding you up.
No, I mean, I think this all happened, the way that I see that this all happened very fast. As Aoife was falling down, Drew was going to catch her. Cliff's hand comes in and Drew is immediately hand on the wrist and staring at Cliff's new form. There's a bit of fear in his eyes, but you also see that ready to like fight anything to protect her. Like he would have been like somewhere in the middle of, as if you were trying to make eye contact with Aoife, he would have been right in between, hand in the wrist, and just like using whatever strength necessary, so that if you were actually grabbing at her neck and trying to do something, his hand is trying to grip as hard as he can. Just
got it.
And when you release, he releases too and just focuses on keeping Aoife steady. And moves a little back. Are you okay?
Drew. Let her down gentle. Don't hold her up. Just let her down gentle.
Aoife?
Drew.
Aoife,
What was that?
don't know.
I saw it. The doc. What they had. So many so many passengers tied up to something. I don't know what it was. Something with bells and I don't know. I had to spurts for a moment and I told him to delay, but I don't know. We don't have time.
I think it's there when Drew sort of starts to cool off and Nehemiah's words sort of finally arrive. And he slowly helps Aoife down gently, still staying very close, eyes on her, just kind of being like, I'm here. And then from time to time, sort of checking on Cliff.
Andy, Game Master, what do I need to roll to determine how many times Nehemiah has seen something like this?
I mean, I could just tell you. You've seen... You, in terms of what has to happen to Aoife, or is what happened to Cliff?
What happened to Aoife?
Aoife?
Yes.
You've never seen it. You've maybe seen her, like, the result of her automatic writing. You've never seen...
Oh, no, I mean, like, to other people, like, possession in general, not necessarily to Aoife. Because I want to say the answer is at least once, but I'll determine... I'll let you defer and
Nehemiah,
choose ultimately.
Were your parents religious?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
I feel like you have seen, at least in your mind, you were told that it was not necessarily a possession, but you've seen people perhaps moved by the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen them speak in a language that you never knew what it meant. But it always seemed to hold meaning for the people who spoke it. But in terms of this is not something that you've seen before.
Okay.
You may have maybe seen it once before. But in terms of Aoife, no.
I don't want to turn my back to Cliff, mostly because I'm in awe. Like, there's that feeling of waking up in the middle of the night and seeing something in the doorway, but it's pitch black. And I think that's what it feels like looking at Cliff in this state. And so Dove takes like 2 steps back closer to Aoife, just to kneel down next to her and give her a handkerchief. She's kind of dabbing at her face and listening to her retelling. There is a fear about witnessing Cliff like this, but it's taking a back seat barely to her curiosity, which is always kind of like dragging her forward. So her eyes are darting back up at Cliff, but there's no distrust. It's just like a new layer as she kneels next to Aoife. And what did you see?
I saw the docks there. There was so much that was going on. And like I said, the Fae and the... Is that Cliff?
Yes.
What is going on? I heard everything that he said to everything I said. That hasn't happened in a long time.
So sorry. Are you in any pain?
No, I'm not in pain, just tiring, and there's a lot.
Did they say anything about when or what else they needed, or
Whatever's happening is happening right now. there's a scientist or something. He said should we do it? Should do it now? And I just said delay because I didn't know what else to say to him.
Finn rushes to your side, Aoife. He comes right next to you and says, Aoife, are you okay?
They're more like you. They're more like you. They're all tied up. They're all tied up. There's so many Silkies and
Finn sort of shrinks back and is like,
oh no, is it Finn that came up? I'm sorry, I thought it was the knocker.
yeah, sorry, it's not Hollow Tom, it's Finn. Finn
Sorry,
comes up
sorry.
and he says that, and he just like moment of.
Let me retake that real fast then, because I thought it was.
Oh, I thought it was just you were sort of like hallucinating in the moment, like you were just more like you, and he's just like, what? But go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, Finn comes up. There are so many. There are so many of the people like him over there. That they're all just tied up and the Selkies and something, and I don't know. There's so many.
Drew just tries to quiet Aoife down to the best that he can. He just tries to hold her. And just, it's okay, I'm here.
If it's happening now, we need to go.
We need to move. I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
Cliff looks back down to Aoife, gives a look down, because as they've moved down, Cliff is definitely the tallest in this moment, down at Drew, and there is, I don't want to say it's a darkening of his eyes, but there's an intensity of him watching. His head turns to spot Dove before he fully continues that turn, making sure he finally gives eyes to Nehemiah and walks back towards Nehemiah, but is going to pass Nehemiah. And in that passing, she's a liability. And continues going back. And will be in the back of the group. Intentionally going into right where the shadow starts. And just is watching.
I think Drew tries to help Aoife up if she needs assistance when she says I can keep going.
Yeah, she'll take the assistance, because I don't think she's not like exhausted, like completely unable to function, but she's that takes a lot of energy regardless of who's in control of the situation. So I think she's just like winded for the moment.
Okay.
And then regarding, just to be clear, we haven't seen ever Cliff look like this.
The only person who's seen it is Nehemiah.
The figure of Cliff currently, the form that Cliff has, would it be a form that, basically, would the form that he manifested right now be a Vaesen-like form or something hybrid?
You're not sure. You've never seen anything like this before.
Okay, because I was going to say, considering the story of how Drew ended up here, there were a lot of creatures that he had to wrestle and toggle. So my question was whether or not he would have a form that was similar to something he at some point got bit by or attacked by or restrained by before he fell into the river.
No.
Okay. So I will say once Aoife is up, Drew looks at Dove, Nehemiah, and he sees Cliff go to stand right where the shadows are, and his eyes are on Cliff. There's an uncertainty. There's a I'm not sure. There's a I'm afraid, and there's a I need to be cautious. Or do I? There's a lot going through his head. But you can tell that his focus now seems to have shifted your direction. and those fists are tight.
Nehemiah, he looks down when Cliff passes him and says she's a liability at the floor. He looks down at the floor, and then he takes in a low sigh, and he makes the short trek to close the gap between him and Aoife, and then he's gonna kneel down so that he is lower than her and look up at her and wait for her to catch his eyes.
I think she does right away. I don't think she's present. So she would follow you down as you lowered.
It's more of a on your terms kind of, rather than look here kind of a thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think she offers those.
What else did you see?
I'm trying to keep it together. I'm sorry, it's just so much. It was standing above the docks. There were these bells. There were the searchlights that were aimed down at everything. There were fae. There were leprechauns and knockers and selkie. They were all like tied up. And this engineer that was next to me, it looked like, I don't know, he was overseeing whatever was being operated up there. And
okay, what was his name?
I didn't really get it.
No, what did he call you? What was his name?
What did I get called?
Colonel
Hartman.
Colonel Hartman. Okay.
Hartmann.
Really quickly, because notes are gonna notes. Is this different from... Oh, never mind. This is definitely different. That is not his name. Continue.
Oh, Colonel Hartman?
Good.
That's what he said.
And was the person you were talking to, did he have any interesting uniform?
What was he wearing?
You recognize it as it is a...
Was it just a plain SS uniform?
It is a Colonel SS uniform. You've seen them before because they've been in Belfast. And even in your attempts to hide and flee and move from building to building and place to place, you definitely have seen them around. They're kind of impossible to miss, all the goose stepping. But you also notice when you were looking down at the insignias, there is definitely there is definitely the presence of a certain, not a medallion, it's an epaulette of sorts, of a member of the, and I'm going to butcher this and I apologize, the Unsinkable emblem, which is in terms of above table. The Unsinkable were the sort of the ones invested in the occult for the Fuhrer. This is legitimate. Like, there were actually an entire group, a division of the SS that was devoted to this. This is a real thing.
And for the lack of fluency in my tongue and the ability to convey all of that, just imagine Andy said that in the tone of a young Irish woman. I think that was a good job.
I think I can
Andy, for you, I'm trying to gently guide Aoife to gather details from Colonel Hartman and the person that he was talking to and what the room looked like. I obviously understand she was very panicked, so I'm not expecting miracles, but he's trying to get anything he can out of Aoife for this.
I'd say she'd be able to effectively communicate a lot. For as jarring as it was,
but he doesn't necessarily know that, so he's trying to be very gentle with her and not try to be
you're
like,
talking
hey,
about
tell me everything you know, like.
Sure. Yes. Emotionally, you're being very calm, but I would
Right.
say that through your questioning, she's able to convey as much as she was able to see.
Sure. In terms, just as a recap, Aoife noticed there were members. There was definitely a detachment of the Wehrmacht there. There were definitely soldiers present, sort of on the outskirts, acting as like a perimeter. There were robed figures sort of surrounding the dais. There were electric lines that were connected to the bells that were then attached to some kind of machinery above table, arcane machinery of some kind that was extracting something from the Vaesen that were present. And you saw the knockers, you saw the leprechaun, you saw Selkie. There were other Vaesen there. You're just not able to immediately, just like in your sort of frantic state, able to see and notice every detail. You saw runic sigils on this machinery. Of course, there is dried blood sort of scattered throughout this place. The doctor or engineer or technician was kind of pathetic looking in the everyone's seen Raiders of the Lost Ark? So the Nazi guy who's dressed in the black fedora and is kind of just a wuss. That guy. Yeah.
I will say, too, I think, like, as Nehemiah's getting Aoife to express this again, she, acting on the words that she just spoke, picks up her book and pen that she must have dropped during all of this and begins to record everything that she, one, said, and two, saw.
Okay.
And Nehemiah's, like, there's the corner of his mouth just turns up a little bit, knowing that you've taken to recording this. And then he goes, now, I'm going to leave you to that, and we'll deal with all the other unpleasantness a bit later. For now, though, we shouldn't be...
No, we need to move.
Exactly.
Hollow Tom steps forward. He has allowed the humans to have their moment of concern for their friend. I hate to interrupt, but there's my people are up there. What do you want me to? Should I take Finn?
I look down at Finn. What is his reaction when Hollow Tom says, should I take Finn? Like, does he look surprised, put off? Is he...
No, he is looking to you all because...
Okay.
For whatever, like, hearing the description that Aoife has provided, it sounds like the last place that you would want to put a child, especially one who only has one arm.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think from the back, in that shadowy space, and to like put, the dot on the eye, you only see the reflection of beady eyes in that darkness. But from that darkness, when Hollow Tom acts, there's almost a reverberation. He goes with you.
Okay, old man. That's fine. I will hide him. I have many different hideouts in the Thompson docks and in the sewers and throughout the city. My people are very industrious in maintaining haunts and lairs.
That's lovely. We really have to go.
Finn turns to you, Aoife, and he gives you the biggest hug he can with only one arm. And then he gives the same to Duff. And he approaches you, Nehemiah, and he extends his hand.
And Nehemiah is still on his like the one knee, like listen here sport kind of pose. So he shakes the hand as well, and then he looks in Finn's eyes and he says, "Neither you nor Hollow Tom ought to play the hero. Please."
Oh, I just gonna be very good at hiding. He is Cliff still in his
Slowly coming out of it.
Okay.
He will step back forward slowly, back to the older gentleman with the rags.
Mm-hmm. He approaches Drew first. I'm sorry. I know you told me, but how do you say I wish you well, friend? Or see you tomorrow.
Drew crouches. Nos vemos pronto.
Nos vemos pronto. And he shakes your hand. I almost keep wanting to say he grabs your hand, but he only has one hand. He shakes your hand. And then he turns to Cliff. And Cliff, he sees sort of the old man return. And the Cliff that was playing cards with him not even an hour ago. And he just gives you the biggest hug.
He would note that it starts off as very cold, physically cold, before a almost artificial warmth comes to his skin. He doesn't tightly wrap his arms around. He gives a pat on the back. Stay close. Stay close to that one.
Of course. At that point, Hollow Tom steps up to Finn. And Hollow Tom says to you, Cliff, in a language that you understand, good luck. And he and Finn disappear down the tunnel, back the way you came. Leaving, you hear the sound of their footsteps receding into the darkness. You see the lantern light sort of moving out and away and then gently moving around the corner. The sound of their footsteps disappears. And you are all left alone in the dark, still seeing the incremental light from the various grates above. And
Nehemiah.
Go on. And as you, in a very brief moment, take stock of your personal faculties and the sort of emotional release of Finn leaving your presence and hoping that the best happens for him. You hear the sound of a bell.
It's happening.
We run.
Nehemiah is getting up and is immediately moving. And before he's still moving, but before there's another word said to him, he says, "As soon as this is over, we're finding Finn."
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that Drew actually starts walking before the group does.
I also think probably that couple of steps have been taken. Many questions. Answer him later. And he will begin to walk as well.
I mean, I was gonna ask, but
Yeah, Aoife, like he said, answer him later.
all right.
And he kind of rolls the sleeves of his, like he basically like unbuttons the shirt that he was wearing at the wrists and kind of rolls them up to elbow length and tucks them in as he walks.
All right. You are all proceeding down the tunnel. As you are proceeding, there is the sound of the bell again. And you feel the ground tremble beneath your feet on every single sound of a bell. And it sounds very much like a ship's bell. Aoife, you would know. Drew, you definitely would know, having worked in the Thompson docks. Actually, all of you have heard a ship's bells here. But there's something lingering about the sound. It sounds far away, and almost at certain points sounds like it's right next to you. At a certain point, you reach a fork in the tunnel. Or not a fork, rather, but a T crossing in the tunnel, and one heads back, or not back in the direction you came, but heads to the west, and the other one heads to the east. And you know that the easterly one is the one to take towards the Thompson docks, or at least it terminates there. And you see the drain, the water and the grime and muck and mire of whatever's in this sewer is moving in the westerly direction towards the ocean.
It's going to seem random, but as we're walking towards the space, Cliff has slowed down slightly because he still wants to be in the back, just to be able to have eyes on everyone. And also, it's probably now understood, maybe even if not with all the facts and the specificity of it all, but perhaps when Cliff is slightly away, the fear isn't as apparent sometimes. And maybe he has clocked that the distance sometimes can be good. But as he's slightly back walking in this space, again, there's a familiarity to a past long, long ago. And as we're walking towards the dock specifically, where the land meets the ocean, more than anything, Nehemiah would clock what he is currently whistling behind the group. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just slow to himself.
How long will it take us to get to that next place? Like where we'll be coming out, where we'll need to be?
Where it terminates is the western wall that sort of surrounds the Thompson docks. I can reference it in the map in a second. So it is the area that is close. It is just on the other side of the Abercorn Basin, right south of the engineering works, right by the area known as. It's just north of the coal deposits. Basically on the area that is marked Tramway.
Okay. So how long at our pace?
The next 5
think?
minutes.
Okay. Dove is getting nervous and her hands are shaking, and I think she wants a plan. So she wants to know what the plan will be when we arrive. Gonna kind of turn around and start not walking backwards, but more like kind of side shuffling so she can see everybody but keep pace.
Mm-hmm.
and
High
just
School
say,
Sparrow knows it well, yes.
Thank you, Bandcamp. I am keeping my head on a swivel, and I don't know how else to ask this, but how are we going to keep from dying? Did anyone have a plan on that part? Is just releasing the Vaesen enough? Or do we need to break the bells? Or what's our objective?
If it's all connected, it all goes. The people, the instruments. Less Vaesen sounds like less conduits. So we free them.
I see.
Will there be
Right.
an issue?
As long as I'm not killed first? No. I believe I can handle it.
Well, you will be delighted to know, Miss Dove, that my plan, as flimsy as it may be so far, does not include you dying first nor last.
Oh, right in the middle.
Nope. Not even there. Maybe
Well, then
somewhere outside. Maybe somewhere outside of it, a long way down the line.
It's probably the best plan. I'll vote for that plan then. I'll get to, I hope, freeing some of the Vaesen, or should we just be going in to wreck the instrument itself? Maybe the entire thing will collapse, like Cliff says. Will it combust? Could it?
Color me potentially incorrect, but which I think is a chartreuse from what I learned. But I would imagine destroying the instruments and the people is paramount. Releasing the Vaesen could be a good idea to go first, but we're causing a lot of potential chaos when we need clarity.
Yes.
So,
But if they're powering it with the Vaesen, wouldn't releasing the Vaesen make it unable to continue working?
that depends on whether or not they still need them to power it.
Right, the bells are ringing.
We also
Understand.
don't know.
Sound of another bell tolls.
That's all three. I
We
see.
also don't know how many Vaesen they have. We release the ones we see. Maybe they have more.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
As long as we speed up. And he starts jogging a little bit.
Just like saddling as fast as she can while maintaining balance in this dark area.
Dank.
Dank and dark. All right. So just kill on sight is what we're thinking. That's what we're going with.
Not necessarily on site, but stop the SS, more like.
Well, that's a given. All right. Okay.
He kind of like smirks when he says it to you, as like it's a little bit of a joke, like it's a little bit of a way to like maybe turn the mood lighthearted, but he's still trying to move.
Yeah. I think
wonder-
your fast pace makes it hard to catch the tone. And
Mhm.
so it's just like, okay, yes, and here we go.
I wonder how many tuning forks they have. Maybe if we steal all their tuning forks, they can't use the bells anymore.
I can certainly try.
I don't know. It's an angle.
Is this it?
Here's what I'm thinking. Cliff and I will be on primary SS dispatching duty. Drew, if need be, I know your fists are probably aching for retribution, but I think you and Dove should stay near Aoife. And he actually kind of looks to Drew when he says that, who I think is ahead of him, but not by much.
Yeah. He hears you say the words, and you just hear he just has a moment of looking over his shoulder and Fine. There's a very, dismissive nod. Since the events with Aoife, Drew has been very quiet and very avoidant of eye contact.
I think Dove picks up on that and is going to stride forward and link arms with Aoife and say,
Don't worry. My fists also hunger for retribution, and I've got your back.
I have a gun.
well, we'll see what we can do with that.
Got that Glocky. That's a clip.
I'm done. I'm done. It's
Well, I
then
did have one. It's right here.
oh man.
That was funny.
The sort of the deadpan, just like, I've got a
Got a
gun.
gun. In that same vein, as Dove links arms with Aoife, Drew Cliff is right next to you. If you're going to be the soldier that I think you are, it's time for you to toughen up.
I've taken hits and bullets before. Have you always been like what I saw?
I'm older than I look. Time is who thinks about it anymore.
What happened to Aoife? Was it my fault?
Sorry. Oh, he's so silent. He thought it was about him. No disrespect. You don't have that kind of power. That was something that is what it is, but it ain't on you.
Is this something going to be at the docks?
Something tells me you want to find out.
Oh, yes. I do. And you just see Drew's hands are down, but you see him sort of stretch and curl, and you can just hear the clicking sounds of those fingers that are used to having to go stiff in order to hit. And there's just that little bone sound that happens sometimes when he has to stretch them and get them ready. And you can see that the shift of what you said plus the idea of whatever caused that to Aoife being at the docks is enough to kind of give him that extra resolve.
And I would just say, as you find that resolve, it might be something going in front of your eye, and maybe it's an illusion, or you're not really sure what your mind just saw, but you swear Cliff's face just contorted to almost be canine for just a moment as he looks back at Nehemiah and says, "You're on Aoife duty."
I said, can I challenge that I don't need a duty?
Sure, you've got a gun.
I do have a gun. And I was taught how to shoot it, so...
You're confident you won't get possessed again?
Ooh, possessed with the gun is bad.
I don't doubt your tenacity. But that thing got in you much quicker than it escaped.
I'll say this. It has happened once before. A long time ago. And I'm not really sure what caused it, but I don't know why it came back now. Whatever that was powerful.
You hear a fourth bell toll. At this point, you feel the vibration from this fourth bell, and you notice it's getting progressively stronger. It feels like there is a slight vibration that is sort of continuous, and you can see the water in the tunnel sort of rippling on the surface. You see, as you're getting closer, you see at the far end of the tunnel where it terminates, and you smell the remains and sort of the runoff from the coal deposits in the harbor and in the docks themselves. And you realize that you are very close to the final the entry into the sewer from right below the tramway.
Look, I'll say this. If it happens again, I saw what they were seeing. So it goes both ways. This time, if it happens again, I'll be prepared, and maybe I'll be able to do something from a different place, if you know what I mean.
Did you see the bell?
I saw everything. I know exactly where we're going.
Well, let's
That's
go.
what I mean.
Let's go then.
Okay.
Guns first.
Pew pew!
Drew goes right to the front of the line. No.
Hey!
It's Aoife, baby, with a gun. Pew pew!
Just for a very quick reminder, I did tell everyone that they had access to firearms at the very beginning of this game. How many of you have firearms? Drew does. Nehemiah. Aoife. Dove does not. And neither does Cliff. Okay. All right.
I got these.
Drew will
Literally.
Drew will happily give his gun to Dove if Dove feels like she could shoot it.
Okay.
You'd give it to me?
He has better chances of punching someone in the face.
Okay.
All right. You reach the end. There is a ladder with a ton of just gross rust and grime that's sort of encasing around it. You hear a sound like electrical current coming from above. You also smell, just beyond the smell of coal, is the smell thick of ozone in the air, this popping electrical energy. And you see above you suddenly just a light, a spotlight, as it sort of passes over the top of the gate, or the grate, the sewer grate. I will say you will have to time this in order to get out of here unnoticed.
Love that. Love this. This
Okay.
is cool. This is great. This is great.
Who's taking the lead?
Drew's ready to
Cliff's gonna take?
lift the grate. If Cliff wants to go first, Drew is ready to basically help by lifting it so that Cliff can go. I don't know what the timing would be, but I would presume that depending on how fast this light is going, we may need to do one at a time, like one person at 6 goes.
Yeah.
It passes every 10 seconds.
Great.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to count it down. So you see the thing go. Who's behind Cliff? I imagine that Cliff and Drew are sort of like side by side on the ladder. Cliff, you're getting ready to move. Drew, you have your hands on the grate, just getting ready. Who's behind Cliff?
I'll go.
Dove? Who's behind Dove? Nehemiah? Who's behind Nehemiah?
Imagine me.
Okay, Aoife, and then Drew. Okay. All right. Cliff, I need you to give me an agility check as you see the thing just move. Drew, you just move the grate to the side. I need an agility check. Go.
4 successes.
Whoa.
4 successes.
4
Okay.
successes.
Drew, you very, very briefly see a hint of that almost canine form suddenly come to the surface as this, not Cliff, but also Cliff, suddenly and just jumps out of the sewer grate as the light passes to the right. You see this thing moving in a blur of speed across the way until he's right up against the wall beneath it. So the Cliff, you see from your vantage point as you move very quickly across the tramway. There's the tram that's right in front of you, so you're moving across the tracks.
Yeah.
You get to the other side, you immediately go down a small hill, and then you go right up to the wall. Above the wall, on the other side of the wall, there is a sniper's post with a spotlight that is sort of moving around in a 360 motion. So it goes around this way, this way, this way, this way, and passes over the grate. Drew, you move the thing back into place?
Yeah, I think that just for flavor, Drew's growing up and upbringing with like a lot of percussion. He's actually tapping with his foot. He's actually keeping the time of the thing, so that way he knows how many steps before it passes. And so that's what he's doing to keep track of.
And go. You, Dove, you need to go now. Give me an agility check.
Okay, boss.
I do have a question.
Dove first, then question.
Go ahead, please do. Yeah.
Yes, I got one success only. Did I do
One
more than
success.
that? Okay.
You are able to pull yourself up. You get up through the hole of the grate. Drew has moved it over to the side. As you do, your foot just just slips on sort of the slippery last step of the grate.
Yeah.
You manage to dash just down the hill, and you sort of like slide. Are you wearing a dress or are you wearing pants?
I've got... Okay, I'm sorry. I'm outing myself. I've got pantaloons on under my dress.
Fair. You sort of slide down the hill, sort of leaving a little bit of a coal stain on the skirt, but you make it across the tram, and down the hill, and make it all the way up to sort of breathlessly coming up to the wall just as you come alongside Cliff.
I look
Cliff,
over to
quick question?
Cliff. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, really quickly. I'm only asking because I got 4 successes, and I didn't expect that. Is there a person mounted at the spotlight, or how many people
there's a
are
person
in
who's
this
controlling the
vicinity?
spotlight. There's a person controlling the spotlight, and there is a person who is armed.
Are they the only 2 people in the vicinity?
Yes, as you moved. Yeah.
I want to do a thing, but I think it might be more detrimental to not. So I think I'm going to pause.
Okay. Right behind you, Dove, is Nehemiah. Nehemiah, I need you to go. Give me an agility check.
2 successes.
2 successes. You just very adeptly as the hunter, you just move. You're very comfortable moving in all different kinds of environments. You jump up, you very quickly dash, not quite parkour, but just slide down the hill and run across the way and get just as this spotlight goes and just keeps moving. No sign that anything has been alerted. You make your way right next to Dove and sort of
I would like to use my lightning reflexes to draw my gun.
Your gun is drawn.
Okay. That's up to me.
Drew, you and Aoife are alone in the tunnel, in the right beneath the sewer grate.
Before I go, I say to Drew, if I ever become possessed again, cover my eyes. I think they can see through them.
He takes note of that. Doesn't say anything because there's not going to be time.
And go. I need an agility check.
No successes, I'm going to push.
Okay.
Which means I just re-roll them again, right?
Yep.
Sick, thank you. Incredible. 1 success.
If Drew, if you'll allow me to do something with your character, Aoife, you are just about to go, and you're all. It's not timed perfectly. Like the spotlight is just, and Drew just holds there for not even a second, but it's just enough time for it to just move past, and then you get up, you get out of the grate, you move across the way and get all the way down until you're right next to Nehemiah. Drew, I'm going to have you roll this agility check that you're going to have to do. But because there's nobody to assist you in moving the grate and getting it back in place and then rushing across the way so that, nobody's alerted, because if you leave a grate just suddenly strewn out, someone's going to notice.
Yeah.
I'm going to take away one of your dice for your agility physique check. So you have 1 less in your dice pool.
Okay.
But you need to give me an agility check now. Go.
Where am I? That's 1 success.
Whew. I cannot stress enough how stress. I cannot stress enough how close you come to getting spotted here. You very quickly, you clamber up the ladder, you get across, pull the grate over to the side, and it like you drag it, and then you plop it down very slowly, very quietly, so that nothing is heard. And then you see the spotlight coming, and you just dash. You go down the hill, you slide very quickly, and then you run across the way, and the spotlight moves just beyond you, and you plaster yourself right next to Aoife. You all have managed to make your way, unseen, unheard, across past the tramway against the western wall of the Thompson Docks. And that is where we will take a break. Okay. And we're back. You are all flattened against the wall. The spotlight every 10 seconds just coming a few feet away. To your left, Cliff. To your left, you see there is a door that is sort of it's a door that leads into a pumping house that is connected to the docks. This is an area where a fire brigade might pump water if there was a fire within the Thompson docks. So it's a pump house that pumps water from the ocean and then blows it out.
Do I hear any sound or conversation, anything coming from that door?
Give me a visual.
Say anything. Okay, that's going to be yay. Hey, Ting Tang. Do I push? Yes, I push. Yes, I push. Because if I don't, and we go in there and get shot, swear to God. No successes.
Okay. Yeah. You don't hear anything on the other side of the door. And it just might be the fact that, it's starting to rain.
It doesn't change anything, which is the good thing about this, which is also the bad thing, because it might mean, well, bye-bye, Cliff. But if we didn't hear anything, let's get out to opening. Don't want them spotting us. And we'll start to head towards that door.
Okay.
Just a quick question. I don't want to delay, but I would say one of the things that Drew would have asked about Aoife would be the thing of like the bell. If like the bell was a bell that sounded like a ship bell, was the bell on a ship? Considering the fact that Drew has work at the docks and potentially like help with like repairs of ships and like crates and things like that. If the ship is in a particular location, which is the usual location on a ship, then Drew would potentially have the knowledge of how to get to that part of the ship or how to potentially dismantle or make the bell fall at any point, potentially. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. All right. So you're opening the door.
Yep.
Resist the urge to D&D in this moment, CB.
No. Listen, he didn't hear anything, and that's the thing is happening.
Okay. The door is a mimic. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Surprise.
You don't hear anything, so you very gingerly just sort of place your hand on the doorknob, and you turn and you pull it open.
Okay.
And standing on the other side of the door, with his back to you, is a German SS soldier with an MP40 on his back, smoking a cigarette. And he is looking off to the right side. You can't see who he's looking at, but you hear him sort of chuckling to himself. Dieter. This is humor. Warum sagt immer...
So how fast are we like Scooby-Doo punching this guy?
He's still telling this joke. Is the other person he's talking to starts to laugh, but in sort of a moaning laugh, like the joke is not. It is a terrible joke. For our audience who speak better German than myself, and I apologize, what this German soldier said was, "Why do we tell actors to break a leg? Because every play has a cast."
Ew.
Anywho.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, actually.
Can I get weird on the beat, Your Honor, real quick?
By all
I
means.
would very much like to take out my crystal ball, and I want to use my observation, which is, I think, that's the stat it says I have to use, to see if I can see through the crystal ball who he's looking at. Before we rush in and try and, I don't know how many others are in there. We only hear one other person responding, but there could be more deeper into the room, that would be pertinent for us to know before we enter.
Okay, give me your observation plus this would count as an equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's got a +1 bonus to it.
Yep. Good.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 1 success only.
Okay. Through the crystal ball, it's sort of like you just ring-cammed this guy. You basically you have the ball in your hand, and you see it is clear 1 second, and then suddenly it is from the POV of this Nazi. And he's looking off to the side, and he's looking back, and he's looking off to the side, and he's smoking, and then suddenly he tells the joke, and you see him look off to another soldier directly across the way, who is sitting at a desk, who is right by a wireless receiver, and it looks to be some kind of, he's a communications officer, and he's just directing troop movement.
Okay.
Does this person have a helmet on their head?
The person you can't see it. It's Clifford who would be able to.
Not the person through the
through
person in the door. No, the door.
The person in the door.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. They do have a standard SS helmet on. Yes.
Drew suggests quietly to move out of the way and see if they can get the attention of the individual that they're seeing to get them potentially to come out. Because right now, these two people are next to one another.
So
you try to.
I will say, Dove, you notice that while this joke has been told, the communications officer is like, oh, no, 99999, and turns back to the radio. So he is not looking at the soldier who's in the doorway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it is Clifford. And Drew, you're technically all the way on the other end of the line, so you're not near the door. The only person who's near is Dove, who's behind Clifford, and then it is Nehemiah.
Okay.
And Dove, you see both of these soldiers. Well, the one who's managing the radio, he is not wearing a helmet. He has a standard sort of cloth cap.
That's something.
But still Wehrmacht insignia all over. And the other guys, he looks to just be on guard duty. He's guarding the pump house.
Yeah. To Nehemiah and Cliff, since they're right beside me, as soon as I'm seeing anything, as I'm scrying, it's like no filter. I'm telling you exactly what I'm seeing, who's wearing what, the information about the comms machine that he's working on, down to the type of cigar I think the guy is smoking. I'm telling you everything I can see. And I look up at you, Cliff, and say, I can make him think he's seeing something he's not, if that helps.
Are you...
I was going to say above table, this is just annoying for Nehemiah because he knows that guns in this time period ain't quiet. So,
Yeah, that's why I'm, trying to get him into a better space so because the people who don't use guns are out here. So I'm trying to, get him out. And so I'm looking to Cliff, who would also be attacking this guy with me, to see if that's a plan he's interested in.
Are you speaking about trying to convince the person at the radio with the cigar? I mean, not the cigar. The other person he's talking to is bored, or the one that's standing right in front of Cliff?
It would be the one in the door. Yeah, the one with the helmet. Because he's got the gun helmet.
I was going to say, you would see, firstly, before, and I know that, there's timing, but I'm just, for understanding's sake, does it seem like going through this space is the thing that makes sense?
This would give you immediate access. Going through this pump house would get you into the interior, past the wall of the docks.
Okay, then yes.
These docks are not fortress. This is not a fortress. This is a shipyard.
Yeah.
That, of course, at one time was built to accommodate naval vessels, but it is still very much not being used that way right now. Okay. So, you're able to gain access through ways you wouldn't normally think you would.
Okay. I realize we need to get him away from the guy inside. So I'm going to take a couple steps back. I'm going to put the crystal ball back into my messenger bag. And
As you are putting the crystal ball back into your messenger bag, you see the last glimpse of this soldier as he is looking at his cigarette. And he sees the smoke moving in a different way now that the door is open behind him. And you see him turn.
As he turns,
Okay.
it is like an echo in his mind. It is like a doorway that refuses to be shut, a path that he doesn't know if it's the right one to take. And that's the fear within the not knowing, the uncertainty. As you see that hair, you all would see the hair, that half-shifted form, returning. Let the smoke be your guide. Let it rise. I'm going to intend to curse him with a fear. He has to make a fear test.
Okay. How many dice am I rolling?
You get to roll logic or empathy,
Okay.
but just by how fear is rolled here.
Mm-hmm.
Technically not a player character, but you get additional dice equal to the number of player characters present in the same. More importantly, you against me have to get at least 2 successes, not
All
one.
right. So will be, for him, this is empathy.
Okay.
Those are 2 4s. Those are 0 successes.
He has 1 level of fear for me.
Okay. So any further empathy or logic will be at a 1 and not at a 2 dice.
And he does become terrified. That is the wording of fear. On a failure, you become terrified.
Yeah.
You suffer a number of mental conditions equal to the fear value, which is 1 for me.
Okay. All right. Excellent.
Fear is a very interesting mechanic in Vaesen.
Terrified. So this is okay. This is 68. I'm just double checking something really quick. Because 68.
68.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you give me a D6 roll, CB?
Sure. Dice, 4 dice. Next. And
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this technically classifies as an encounter now. Yeah. So he will be terrified for 1 round, and this is going to be, I am going to drop a link in the general. This is how initiative is determined. It is through a card draw. I'm going to ask everyone to draw a single card. Aces count as 1. You want to get the lowest number. Lowest counts as first. So an ace is really good.
So we just draw 1 card.
1 card.
Got a 7.
Got a 7. Okay.
8.
So Dove is at a 7.
It's a 10.
3.
It's giving 3.
Nehemiah.
The King of Spades.
King.
I don't know.
Sorry, King of Clubs. It was
Drew.
a black card, but then it loaded.
What was yours?
10.
10. Cliff, you were a
8.
8. And Dove, you were a 7. The gentleman is also an 8. And I will say the communications officer is a 2.
Ooh, that's bad.
Well, luckily nothing has happened for the communications guy to react.
Yeah,
yet.
all this guy
True.
the communications officer turns as if to respond to the joke after he's given the initial order over the comm unit. He turns around and he sees this soldier just staring wide-eyed, fingers trembling around the cigarette, just as he can't see Cliff, but he sees that this soldier, his friend, is looking at Cliff, and he's like, was ist das? And the other soldier's like, and he will skip the comm officer and go right to Aoife. You're muted.
See, this is so interesting because I think with Aoife's mental situation and also where she is in relation to the door, I think my best option right now is just to wield my club. And are there prepared actions in this game?
There are slow actions, and then there are fast actions. So a slow action would be to make an attack. A fast action would be to draw the club. So, yeah.
I mean, I do have the lightning reflexes, so I do...
Also, what you can do is you
out.
can swap your initiative for somebody else's. So you could choose to go after, say you want to go after Nehemiah goes. So you could swap yours
Sure.
to the end. Okay, so you're choosing to take the King of Clubs. That would mean that, Nehemiah, you are now at a 3. So you go first.
Great.
Okay, I
This
wasn't ready.
is weird how
to,
initiative
like-
works because it's not
pick
exactly a
somebody
numbers-based
else.
system.
No, that's fine. I just.
But it allows you guys to strategize more and not be a slave to the numbers. It's very cool the way it works out.
Well, then in terms of strategy, is there somebody who thinks that they're first?
No, I got this. I got
You're
this.
good? Okay.
I just needed. I wanted to take that time to strategize, but I've got an idea.
Okay,
So,
then let's go.
So Nehemiah is going to, with his offhand, he's going to pull the knife out of the bit on his waistband, and he's going to stab this guy in his left Achilles tendon.
Okay. Give me your attack. This will be you have special, do you have specialty with a knife? Or with blade weapons at all, or no?
I don't. I have close. No, I have close combat physique. So
Okay,
I've
got
got
you.
one for that. So
Is there, I'm so sorry for all the questions, but is there any way to help with this? Because I know what's coming. If you swipe low, he's going to scream. Can I help and make sure that doesn't happen?
Him screaming?
Yeah,
I
after
will,
he gets sliced.
You know what? I will.
Because I go next after Nehemiah.
You know what? I will allow that. I'll say that will be a fast action on your part. So that will be your
Perfect. Thank
fast
you very
action.
much.
Okay. And you can actually do that because you are like literally right behind Cliff. So it's like, Cliff, you shocked the shit out of this guy. He literally turned, looked into a nightmare, and immediately...
Oh, that's right. He's turned around. Never mind.
I mean, you could still try and like work your way around. I'm not opposed to that.
All right. Yeah, it'll probably have to be his right Achilles tendon then, because I'm reaching in. Wait, no, it's still the left one. If he's turned around. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm playing games I shouldn't need to play. Anyway, it's a 6.
Okay. You got it. Okay, so, all right.
Did all that? It's a 6.
Just 1 6?
I have 1 in close combat, I guess.
So it's a
So
physique.
if
It's a physique.
Yeah,
Plus your plus whatever bonuses.
I see. Okay. Just 1 6. But his plan is basically to just kind of like stab into it to sever it.
He did not roll any successes, so he does not cancel out your success. He is going to take the wounded condition, and he's going to be rolling at a minus to his dice pool. You immediately reach around and you like stab into his Achilles tendon and just rip it away from his right leg. The blood just goes across the ground and is continuing to spray. He immediately goes, as Dove immediately like grabs his face, like grabs from around the back of his head and just clamps her hand against his mouth. He is silenced in this moment. This is a terrifying way to die.
I was gonna slit his throat.
So fast action. Go ahead, since it is your turn, and go ahead and make your attack.
Okay. What am I adding? What am I? Wait, hold on.
So this would be
precision.
yes.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, sorry, physique.
Okay, physique. Yep, and close combat. Okay. Let's go, girl. Hey. Okay, well that's just one.
Just one success.
One success.
Boom.
I just saw the first 6 roll and everything else kept rolling. I was like, ooh, none. Okay.
Yeah, you. Okay. That's the great thing about Vaesen, is that you only need to get a certain number of, I guess, conditions before you incur like a critical injury. But I will say, since you guys are describing exactly how you're taking this guy out, slice to his Achilles tendon brings him like his knees buckle, brings him like down to like Dove's, like to an effective Dove height. Dove, you immediately go and just slice his neck across. The blood sprays into this sort of mini office. You hear a gasp from the room as this guy just crumples. Like he doesn't even have time to process the horrific image in front of him before he is dead. And that will complete Dove. That will bring up no, that soldier's dead. That'll bring up Cliff.
So what you all probably expect to see is big lumbering individual running in to deal with number 2. But as he spoke, and you saw the fur go all over his body and his arms and his claws begin to extend, you see him start to get I dare not say smaller, just less vertical as he gets down upon all fours. And as he does, you see the body contort and shift. There's a shadowy wisp all about him. Again, that natural aura of terror beginning to rush off of him. As with my full slow action, I'm going to fully shift into the black dog.
Fuck yeah.
As I, with my fast action, just stalk forward closer to this individual. Each step of my paws, another omen, another signal for this individual's death.
Okay. You stalk towards this comms officer. Alarm. He really doesn't even realize that he's talking in a hushed tone. He's not even really using any volume. He can't even scream right now. He is so terrified. He just watched his buddy just get massacred. And that will complete Cliff's turn. That will bring up Drew. You're muted.
I think that what happens next is this happens almost immediately after Cliff's transformation. But the way that this happens is a very, very different Drew. Drew just enters this place with a steady, direct step, just walking. You can hear the shoes clicking, like the worn out heels. As he steps, passes by the individual that Dove just took down with Nehemiah, steps into the area where the comms room individual is, and without even a flinch or hesitation, revolver goes up, aims between the eyes, and shoots.
Okay, give me your precision plus any firearms bonus that you are using.
One success? I think so, yeah. And I believe the damage bonus is +2.
He He is not afraid, so he doesn't have it. He's not at a disadvantage at the moment. He is going to attempt to dodge. That is one success. He sees the gun come up. He sees Cliff in front of him. You guys are sort of like right next to each other, and he just he reaches down for and as he reaches down for this button on the desk, he brings his head just out of the bullet's path, and there's a loud report from the gun and it pierces into the wall behind his head, or where his head was, and he just suddenly finds his voice, and in terrified German yells, "Alarm and Ringeling im Insektor! Einheiten sofort in Stellung!" And he presses the button.
Question. Would me attempting to stop, or rather get to obstruct the button, could that be considered a fast action? I will also point out... I'm going to say no, because you're moving into the room. You're moving into the room, and then you are using your slow action to shoot. What about if I have fleet-footed? During combat, I can move within my own zone without using actions.
Then fuck yeah. This is the problem. What I should have done is I should have asked you guys before, after you guys had chosen what new talents or attributes that you were going to enhance. You should have just told me what you were going to use. But
I didn't know that he was leaning. So for me, it's since I'm able to move within my space and I see that the bullet fails and I see him that he's actually going, I think what Drew does is Drew actually jumps over the comm desk.
Okay. To keep him from getting to the button.
Basically, okay. Yeah. If he needs to crash himself against this guy to basically keep him from the button, Drew is just literally just vaulting over this thing and just allowing himself to fall with this guy to stop him.
Hold 1 second. I'm going to see. Okay. I'm going to say that this is going to be a force check.
Great.
You are hurtling your body over the desk to keep him. You're going to crash into him. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a sort of a type of an opposed check here. Okay, this is physique. Okay. Yep. Okay. Give me your force plus your physique for your dice pool.
Would this, with my Toughness Nails +2 force when fighting unarmed, count for this?
This is not fighting. You're not fighting him in the moment. You are attempting to keep a button from being pushed.
That is 3 successes.
He got 1 success. He is failing he is full on terrified, just scrambling, trying to press the button. You hurl your body over the desk and you knock into the communications equipment and just completely crashing it to the floor as you put your palm over the button and keep him from slamming down on it. That will bring us to Aoife.
I have a question above table. Is this initiative, I guess it's chronological? We are going one after the other, and we're not going all at the same time?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, yeah. It reads as happening simultaneously. Yeah.
Okay. So then with all of that happening, and I guess I had pictured us kind of we're through this doorway.
Mm-hmm.
So who is now in the room? Cliff is in the room.
Drew is in the room. Cliff is in the room. Nehemiah is just at the door as he is hamstrung or Achilles tendoned this one guy. Dove is at the door as she has covered the mouth of this guy and sliced his throat. As he has collapsed, the rest of them moved into the room. You are just outside the door as well.
Great. Can I push in and smack this guy upside the head with my club?
Yes, by all means.
Okay. I'm gonna try at least.
Okay. Give me your physique plus your.
We'll see how this goes. I got 3 successes.
Fuck.
3
hold on.
6s and a 5.
Oh, he got 1 success. So he's going to take away one of those. But I will say with 2 successes, you walk in. He is sort of like scrambling, trying to get Drew's hand off of the cover, from covering the button. He doesn't even see you. He's not focused on you. You come up behind him and smack him upside the head, and then bring the club down on his hand and immediately break his hand in like 3 places. He's not going to be using that hand to do anything.
Yeah, that tracks.
He is not dead, though, and he's not knocked out. He is definitely battered and wounded.
So that's because of my lightning reflexes. I have my weapon out and my fast action? Yes? So I still have
So
a slow
yes,
action?
you still have a fast action, yes.
Oh, that was a slow action?
Yes, that is, so to attack, that is the slow action. The fast action would be to, if you were loading a gun, you would load the bullets. If you had a weapon that you wanted to draw instead of your club, you would draw that. That would be a fast action.
Great. I'll use that to pull out my gun and hold it to the back of his head.
You do that. You guys, like, I'm so sad that we haven't done combat sooner. Like, this is fucking awesome. Okay.
We're here now.
Yeah. Good. So, Stop. And he sort of just raises his hands. His one hand is like very badly broken, but he's still raising it above his head. Just do not shoot.
Call off the alarm.
I don't think...
He points down at Drew's hand, who is just covering the cover.
Not the button. He made an announcement first. I want him to rescind that.
He looks down at the radio that Drew crashed over onto the floor. The radio is in shambles.
Okay,
it is not usable.
Okay.
While this is happening, Nehemiah has turned over the dead SS officer and taken the gun off his back.
Okay, you are now in possession of an MP40. Did I give you stats for that? Or did I give you CB? Did I give you stats for this MP40?
You gave me stats, but I threw the gun away. No, you did not give me stats. You just said it was MP40.
Oh, okay.
I did not write it down.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me just pull up the stats that I had for the MP40.
While we're looking this over, with the gun to the back of this guy, surveys the room, but looks to Cliff, actually, to see what he wants to do.
Y'all will see, because the alarm has been raised, and whether people are around now or not, it stands to say that people will be coming. And you see that he sees that you, Aoife, you, Drew, have handled this individual before he can get to him, which might be a better thing, because you can see the sharp and grotesque canines, almost an ichor dripping off of his teeth. He sees you, Aoife, and then he turns towards wherever we would be going from this space. And when I'm in full black dog mode, not only can I curse, I can enchant. And I'm going to... It is almost an howl or wail that comes from his mouth. And slowly but surely, the fog from the ocean bank coming up the dock will slowly begin to pull in, as I'm going to use magic to cause the fog to start to roll in and conceal what's happening.
Okay.
So it is a magic check on my side.
Mm-hmm.
That is 2 successes. For the audience's understanding, I no longer am using my Cliff stat block. I am using my Black Dog stat block, which has different conditions as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You can see now that you're in the room, you see that just on the other side of this is kind of like it's a pump house that's been transformed into a guard shack with a communications officer in it. You see just on the other side of it, from this door, you see there is another door on the opposite side of the room. It's not a large space, but just on the other side, you see a door that opens down into a factory floor, and there are windows that are at least that sort of are on the interior walls looking into the factory. You see that there are stairs that go down from the door going down into the factory floor. This looks to be, there's some very large machine parts, very large ship parts that are just sort of have been produced but are not actually being used at this point. You see just entering on the far side of the factory floor, you see 2 other German soldiers who have just entered. They do not seem to be moving at a swift pace. They seem to be moving sort of with their guns, just sort of very nonchalantly moving towards the guard shack.
Okay. And for understanding's sake, fog was just in case there's any other people outside. While we're staying inside, we don't know who might be patrolling on the outside. Yep. So it's cutting off anything from there.
I'm just asking, is anybody closing the door behind? Okay. Nehemiah, you got that? All right. So you pull the soldier's body inside the room and you close the door, making it look like nothing ever happened here.
And if there's blood on the ground, there's also fog. So can you see it?
No, nobody saw anything here. The soldiers are moving towards the guard shack, but then they just sort of stop and they just light up cigarettes and they're just sort of standing there talking. They pause. The fog sort of moves in around them. And looking around, they're saying some things in German. They're too far away really to hear, given that you're on the inside of this guard shack. Then they move off. They do not appear to be moving in your direction any longer. What do you all do? Cliff, you are staying in your Black Dog form.
He is in full Black Dog form.
Got
it. Wait for a moment, but understanding the area we need to start going to, he's going to start to stalk that way.
Got it.
Staying very stealthily to the shadows. Not getting out of their sight, but not staying here either.
Are we gonna take this guy out or something, or tie him up?
If allowed, Drew would attempt to actually chokehold this guy.
Okay. Just give me a force plus your physique. Plus unarmed combat.
Great.
Intense fear in this guy's eyes as you are choking this guy out.
Thank God I'm rolling with all this die. That was 1 success.
You hear as he is gurgling and you choke him into unconsciousness and he falls to the floor.
That was so pleasant to watch. Okay, where are we going?
Aoife has suddenly transformed into a badass.
You guys actually
Aoife's shocked.
You actually see Drew is immediately taking the clothes off the soldier.
Okay.
And I'll point out that the way that Drew is acting right now, very almost like entranced. This is the Drew that fought a civil war a century ago. This is the Drew that was guerrilla warfare when he was fighting against the Spanish army, and he had to take all kinds of measures in order to fight the dirty fight against the bigger enemy.
So you have
And-
lapsed into it
Yeah.
another lifetime.
Yeah, this is just muscle memory coming to play.
I think that's more so what Aoife was commenting on, just how stone-faced Drew has become, being that she has only seen him, I mean, obviously confused when he first arrived here, but this is unlike anything, and perhaps that was more disturbing than the choking out to an extent for her.
Okay.
Well, I look down and see I'm covered in someone's blood, and I look for my hands to be shaking, and I don't see that happening. So I reach down and I pull the helmet on.
Okay.
It's a little too big and kind of like droops, and she tries not to look like a little kid trying on like their parents' helmet. And tries to get it to settle, and is like wiping some of the blood off her more delicate areas to make sure, not presentable, but like sanitary as possible, I guess. And will look to Nehemiah.
Who is checking the MP40 and making sure that it's loaded?
Got it. It is fully loaded with the safety on. It is, here are the stats. This is what happens when you suddenly have to go from a Vaesen game where there are like single fire weapons to suddenly having automatic submachine guns. So, Barrow, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I was waiting for like a reaction to, oh, that's what we're up against?
I also want to ask the guy who was on the radio that
Oh,
we
he's
neutralized.
choked out.
Yeah. Did he have, what weapons did he have nearby?
He had a Luger on him.
Drew's gonna take that.
Okay. So you have your pistol, and you also have a Luger as well. So you have two guns, and let's see. Okay,
One last thing,
sure.
and if you'll allow me, DM, I'm going to ask the players a question. Can
away.
all of you roll a d6 and tell me who gets the lowest?
Oh no.
I got a 6.
I got a 5.
I got a 4. Wait.
Drew? Oh, that's a 1 for Drew.
It's okay. It's fine. I think at a moment, Drew, as you're getting the Luger and other things, and you see that Cliff has started to stalk off slightly, just to slightly get ahead, slightly be a perimeter watcher, just scoping out while humans are humaning. But for a moment, I think your eyes might look up, and you'll see for a second Cliff is looking back at you. And that's when you see the paw print on the ground as he is giving you a blessing.
Aww.
Which means while you have this, you can add a +2 to any test of your choice. However, if you touch it, GM, as per what we talked about, he might see a potential final moment.
If I touch the paw
The
print?
blessing.
Wait, so where do I see this paw print?
I guess on the ground, as if where his footsteps were, left behind is just a small, almost like metallic or almost like obsidian paw print. Physical.
Oh, so physical.
Very similar to the one that he gave, or in terms of blessing, very similar to the one that he gave Father Patrick.
So to get this blessing, I still need to grab this thing.
Correct.
Ooh.
And can I ask,
Yeah.
Cliff, Oh, wait, no, this is separate from your dark secret. This is not this is not using any of the others. It's just got it.
Yeah, no.
Understood.
This is a what I am blessing.
Yep.
I think
Nehemiah is going to look to everyone and he's going to go, well, we should not linger here. We should keep moving. And he kind of gestures everyone to like exit the comms room as he comes into it.
I follow.
A
Drew
bell
is going to take the
tolls.
blessing.
Oh,
We
Drew
have to
takes the
stop
blessing.
that.
Okay. As everyone, I'm assuming nobody's resisting that suggestion. So as everyone leaves the comms room, Nehemiah kneels down and produces his knife again and goes, well, bud, good luck to you wherever the hell you end up. And he slices his throat.
Okay.
And
The two
he just
Nazis
does it very,
dispatched.
like-
You all are heading out. You've collected the blessing, Drew?
I
Okay.
think Drew put the coat of the German officer on, saw the blessing on the ground.
Okay, so he wasn't a German officer. He was just a soldier. So he has like the button up
Jacket.
like coat. It's not a coat per se. It's more like the
I know the
button-up
one that you're.
shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like
So
a
maybe he
jacket.
didn't click anything.
So you pick up the blessing. Drew, the moment you pick up the blessing, there is a flash as you feel the surge of this blessing enter you. How are you blessing him, Cliff?
The thing about his blessings, it's actually icky to him to call it a blessing because he understands that it's not necessarily a blessing. Perhaps it's a second chance. And as anyone who gets this energy, as they touch it, there's an exhilaration, there's a caution, there might be curiosity, because everyone, in some way, shape, or form, wants to know what happens next. And this gives you a chance to know for a hefty price. So really, it's up to how Drew feels.
I think that Drew has been restraining the individual and he goes to grab the blessing and he takes it. Everybody's getting ready to depart. And the moment that Nehemiah goes to take care of that second soldier, Drew looks back, but he doesn't see Nehemiah and the soldier. He actually sees himself in the same position that he had when he killed the last soldier right before the portal opened to Ireland. And in his mind, the flashes of that entire sequence of events just flashes before his eyes once more. He sees the blood going to the water growing red, the pale man across on the other side, slowly now turning. And then just as he sees or visualizes the eyes of Cliff as the black dog, he then remembers black dog-like figures biting at him to restrain him, along with a bunch of other dark Vaesen, as he sees the pale man reaching him, and instead of him falling in the water and ending up in Ireland, he just senses the pale man grabbing the sides of his head, and then everything goes black.
You see this, and it's a moment from the past, but per this blessing, like we discussed, CB, there is a potential future that is seen, a potential end. And Drew, you have this moment from the past, this fear, this possible past end that you never saw, And in another flash, you see yourself looking down, and you see a pair of boots directly beneath you. And as you gaze upward, you see the black officer trench coat. You see the black uniform. You see the regalia of an SS officer and the special insignia indicating the cultist core of the Wehrmacht, or of the SS. And you realize that this must be Colonel Hartmann. And you see he has you lifted up off of the floor by your neck. And you are looking into a paler-skinned individual. And suddenly your mind is put to the words, and I'm going to ask if Drew would make any connection based off of his history, based off of the stories his mother shared with him, of the different creatures that go bump in the night. But when Aoife spoke, this colonel said the words, "I am eternal. Blood and time are my dominion. The fools of Belfast find themselves safe behind their churches and their whispers. But I will drink their lineage dry. And with it the future they clutch so dearly." And he opens his mouth, and he presses his lips to your neck. And you feel a sharp pain, and then nothing. And that is where we will leave it for tonight.